Good day, everyone. My name is Maria Kądzielska, and you are watching Poland Daily Culture in the times of quarantine. Artists usually don't know a lot about law. Usually, they make silly mistakes which could be easily avoided. With me is Edmund Falanders, a lawyer and an attorney. Sir, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for the invitation. I hope I could help.
I do hope as well that you will help us to resolve some artistic problems which are in the field of law. When we're talking about legal aspects of the life of an artist, it always ends up with rights, payments, and royalties. It's not always the easiest to get them, especially you don't know how your career will develop. But recently we've heard about problems with rights and royalties when it comes to a very popular Polish artist, singer, songwriter, and a poet who passed away 3 years ago. Sir, you are the one who is familiar with this case. Could you explain us the details of this situation?
Well, the situation started after the artist passed away. The company asked the family to agree to produce the album. They showed the music. They showed what kind of tracks they will use. They showed the box and everything. And they waited for the consent, but the family didn't give the consent at the beginning. The representative of the company said, "We won't produce any album without your consent." There were some negotiations. They were thinking about what to do in order for the album to be professional. They settled some things, how to produce the album, but they were never they never gave the consent at the end. What happened was after a couple of months, someone saw a new album of the artist, and they were shocked that they produced it without the consent. They assured earlier on that they won't produce it without consent, but they produced it. The person who wrote the assurance there that they won't be producing it, they fired her, and it's complicated. But anyway, they did produce the album without the consent of the family. As they said that they bought the rights from the organization, from ZAIX or SPAW, whatever other organization and they're able to sell the album. But the legal situation is not that simple.
So you can be family of an artist, for example, children of an artist, of a poet or a singer, and see a new album of your father being published there in the store without your knowledge or without your direct permission, just because they bought the rights from the artistic organization which your father or mother were signed up to. And is it even possible? It just sounds ridiculous. It sounds as a science fiction. It shouldn't really happen.
Well, we found out later on that the company is using very doubtful legal moves. But anyway, if it's all about the person or the entity who has the rights. So if the artist dies, then the family in this case, their children inherited those rights. So they should be the one in charge and the one who's giving consent. They knew about it. That's why the company knew about it. That's why they addressed the permission. But they somehow found out that the organization didn't manage to get all the documents in the right way. I don't know how it happened, but if the organization should have another agreement with the family in order to sell their rights, but somehow they used the situation and they bought the rights from the organization, and they didn't care that they agreed to some terms over the negotiations, and I think it will end up in court. I'm advising the family to do it, but this situation is very hard for them because of the it's very individual. It's their father, but and someone just acted in an unacceptable way. But there has to be consent from the family in order to start the proceeding. We'll see, because in my opinion, they did it unlawful. They did it in a way that shouldn't be done, of course.
And how quickly such kind of case could be resolved when it ends up in court?
Those are the toughest questions that the lawyers get. We see how the country is struggling with the judicial system, and this right now the situation gonna make it worse. But in such case, if there are not many witnesses, the case is simple. It should be earlier, but of course it takes not less than 1 year right now in a court to do it, unfortunately.
And in all of such cases, do you advise to fight to the end for your rights and actually go to court, even if it costs money at the very beginning, and you have to invest some additional funds to get your rights back?
No, I usually advise not to go to court because court should be the last point of the problem. We had a meeting with the company. They proposed some kind of different type of. It wasn't a remuneration, but it was the idea on how to resolve the situation. It was quite a long time ago. They didn't manage to execute their promise. So we'll see. That's probably going to be the only way to resolve this situation. But we still think that they were act in a professional way, and we won't have to be in court.
And we also hope, in the sake of this artist and for all the artistic community, that such cases will be resolved in the favor of an artist, and that it will be very rare that it actually happens, because it's crazy. You go to the store and you buy a CD of an artist and the money doesn't go to him. Since it's so hard to be and to produce and to create new things, it's very sad that people want to take advantage of it as well. But it seems that it's true, and in all of those cases, it's important to take some legal actions and legal advices from professional lawyers. And thank you very much for watching Poland Daily Culture.